everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Today we'll be talking about casting rumors for the Han Solo anthology film.
Or Hanthology.
Hanthology. So, Variety is reporting that Chris Miller, Phil Lord, and Kathleen Kennedy have now kind of settled down the initial 2,500 people who auditioned for Han Solo down to about 12 choices. And they're now in their final stages of casting. On top of that, this list that we've received has been said by someone from Entertainment Weekly, Anthony blah blah blah, I can't pronounce his last name. He's tweeted that the list is both somewhat incomplete and somewhat inaccurate, but I kind of
It's mostly, okay, so I guess that means that there's people that are being considered seriously that are not mentioned.
Yeah.
And maybe there's one or two that are they're not, maybe they already know that they're not going to use them.
Yeah, but he used the word somewhat, so that means that some of these might actually be real people who are being auditioned for this and considered.
Just not maybe top 12.
Yeah.
Maybe like top 20. So one of the names that's being considered is Miles Teller, who you probably didn't recently see him in Fantastic Four. I think he played Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And well, I guess at this point we don't know the script and we don't know a lot of things about it, so it's just basically just basing our opinion based on their filmography and if they have the look.
Yeah.
And personally, he's too baby faced, I would say.
Yeah. And I saw him in Whiplash, and he was kind of a bit of a weenie. I mean, that was his character, but it really didn't seem like a Han Solo type character. He was kind of always complaining and stuff.
Well, even in Fantastic Four, from what I understand, he's kind of more brooding and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're a good actor, you can have the full range. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I just don't see Han Solo when I see him.
Yeah. Another one is Ansel Elgort. I think I'm pronouncing his name. I'm not sure. He's been in Divergent and Convergent, I think, or something. Some other
Insurgent. Convergent?
I don't know.
That's like the X-rated version of it.
He does also seem a bit young, but he's kind of got that look to him that I can actually see him a bit more than I could see maybe.
He does kind of resemble a young Harrison Ford, kind of. I mean, you'll never find the perfect match, but okay, I can see that.
Yeah, he doesn't have a huge list of filmography, none that I've seen, but if they choose him, then I don't think it would be completely off the radar for me. I don't think it's a terrible choice. Another
guy that they're listing is a man named Jack Rayner. And he hasn't been in a lot. He's been in Transformers 4, and there was an adaptation of Macbeth, and a couple other things. Not a huge amount. He actually has that
Chris Pratt kind of look.
Yeah, he has that Chris Pratt look to him. So I don't know. He's got the look, I'd say.
Yeah, he looks a bit younger than Chris Pratt, but I can see it.
He's maybe a little bit too square-jawed, maybe, but I don't know.
Another name that's up there, probably one of the most recognizable ones, at least for me, is Dave Franco, James Franco's brother. He's been in, 21 Jump Street, which he worked with Phil Lord and Chris Miller before, so it wouldn't be completely out of nowhere to see him cast in it. I can kind of see it, it's hard to detach now. I kind of feel like they should go for someone that's not as well named at this point because it's kind of hard for me to see him now not in this sort of comedy role, and he seems a bit younger and stuff still. But I don't think that would be a terrible casting choice, and he's at least well known. I don't think they need a well known actor for Han Solo at this point, but if they did, he's not a bad choice.
And also he has more the sort of charisma and comedic timing that I think you would need from a young Han Solo.
Yeah.
So the next actor is Logan Lerman, who has kind of a funny sounding name. And I should mention, most of the actors we've mentioned so far have been born in 1992. I think all of them so far.
Yeah.
Have been born in 1992, which would make them 22 now, or 23.
23, yeah.
23. So by the time they film, they'd be about 25 or so.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the range I think they're going, as the character's supposed to be in that sort of 23 to 28 year old age bracket.
Yeah.
And he's been in Fury. He's been in
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
A couple other things. He's got a pretty good filmography.
Yeah.
I don't really know, most of these people, I've seen some of these movies, but I can't really remember this person specifically.
Yeah, Logan Lerman, I guess he's been in a lot of stuff, but he's also really, he's still decently young at this point, so most of the stuff that I've seen him in, he's been even younger, so it kind of just feels in my mind as a really young choice, but I think now that he's aged up a few years, and probably when he gets there, they won't seem as young, but it does still kind of seem like a young
Well, if you
choice.
see more recent pictures of him now, it's okay, he's not such a kid anymore.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Another big name is Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son. He's probably one of the oldest ones that I've seen so far out of this list. Maybe if there's any that are not real, this might be one of the ones that is, because he seems kind of like, a really big name to throw in, and he seems a bit old at this point, that even if, in 3 years when he shoots it, he'll be like almost Harrison Ford's age when he actually filmed the new
Well,
Hulk,
I
right?
think how old is he now? He's about 30 now?
30, yeah.
So by the time they film, they'll be 32. Yeah, by the time the film comes out, he'll be like pushing 35. So that's almost the same age as Harrison Ford when he made A New Hope. So I think maybe he's too old to play it, and he looks a little bit too built too.
Yeah, he looks a bit big, and there's also that whole of him looking a lot like Clint Eastwood, so it's going to be kind of hard to distinguish him from any of the other Clint Eastwood characters that have come out at this point. But I can see it. He's definitely a good looking guy. I don't really see this charisma so far, but I've never actually seen him act in anything. He's been in Fury recently.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty big name choice. I don't know how true or how likely it is, but he's well known, so it's worth mentioning.
So next up on this list is Blake Jenner, also born in 1992. That seems to be one that they were all sort of around 1990, 1992.
Yeah.
And he's basically unknown. He has a few credits in Glee and some other random things that you probably haven't seen. But that's about it. So he's, I feel like they're more inclined to go for a newcomer. Like rather than Clint Eastwood's son, he would have a better shot at actually being cast.
And he does have a pretty decent Han Solo look to him, I think, more so than anyone else. He's not decently same build, decently kind of same facial features. I could see him just in terms of pictures. I don't really know. I don't see the charisma yet. I've never seen him act, but you know.
Well, the thing is, you do a little bit of hair and makeup. You put the costume on them, sit them down in the Millennium Falcon. All of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, there's young Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
Especially if the script is good, you sort of believe the character is who he is, right?
Yeah.
So we're making very superficial judgments here, but this is really all there is to go on right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And the last one that we have for you is Emery Cohen. Again, not too much that I know about him. He was in a movie recently called Brooklyn,
which has gotten really good reviews. I haven't seen it, but
he was also in this one called The Place Beyond the Pines, which I saw. It's a really kind of weird movie, different story. It's like 3 acts and everybody, I don't know. Anyways, I think he was this really weird teenage boy in that movie too, and he acted really strange. Based off of that, I wouldn't make a really good judgment about his Han Solo acting abilities, but that's neither here nor there because his character was messed up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, we're basically typecasting all these actors. It's like no one would ever have believed that Michael Keaton could play Batman because he's like Beetlejuice and all these crazy comedy movies. And then, he's surprised, oh, crap, that's right, he's an actor. He can do many different roles, right? That's what actors are supposed to do. They don't, some of them just do the same sort of thing all the time, but...
Like Harrison Ford.
Well, yeah, but even his characters, Mosquito Coast and stuff, and The Fugitive and
he's
Star
got
Wars.
different ones.
He's always the hero action man. But.
Yeah. But I guess we're just making superficial judgments right now. It's kind of hard to tell without even seeing any of if the acting tapes. If we got even a choice to see that, we would probably be able to kind of make a better judgment than what we're doing. But of course, it's all we get as fans and just who want to watch it, and that's probably what everyone else is doing when they see these lists: is IMDbing the names, looking at the pictures, and trying to make a judgment whether or not they'd be a good Han Solo.
Yeah, well, with Lucasfilm and J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and now Rian Johnson, they're all very talented people, and they've all been very good with their casting choices.
And Phil Lord and Chris Miller are also really good directors, as far as I've seen with Lego Movie. I think they can do a really good job with anyone they get. Honestly.
John Boyega, he's in Attack the Block, and that's pretty good, but you're not like, well, okay, he's the leading man, the male lead in Force Awakens, and Daisy Ridley has no credits. I think she was a model or something before that.
Yeah.
So, these people come out of nowhere, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they have good judgment, and because...
Capable directors.
And also the thing is, the script is believable. When the characters speak, they're consistent with their characterization. They're funny and witty, and you believe that they're real people. They're not just these caricatures or these 2D people that just, I have to say this, so the plot will do this.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing. You have to have a certain look, and you have to have a certain acting ability. And most of the people who have established resumes have very good resumes.
Yeah, the only thing is because this is a character from it's Harrison Ford but set in the past, the look is kind of a really big part to it. Is even though like you said, you just put some makeup on, put them in their costume, put them in Millennium Falcon, it does do wonders in that amount, but you still have to have a decently similar enough look. So that's kind of a big part of this casting.
Yeah, a big thing I would compare it to is when they were casting Ewan McGregor, right?
Yeah.
He has to be a good actor. he has to be able to make the character real, but at the same time, you have to believe that he could become the pre-established character.
Yeah, which they did a good job of makeup in episode 3 that I saw. He looked,
Yeah, it looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see who they go with. The guy from Entertainment Weekly was saying, this list is incomplete, so there may be other people that they're considering.
Yeah,
that,
more no names or whatever.
Yeah, people who are like, who's this? I don't know. We just found him in the casting room one day, and he gets the part, right? Like sometimes, like Harrison Ford was repairing a door in the casting office, and they're like, come read this part because you used to be an actor, and we need another Han Solo. And he's like, okay, fine. And he was the best one.
Yeah.
So you never know how these things go, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess that's all we have to say. Leave any feedback you guys have on this story. Any thoughts you have, who you think should play Han Solo. I know a lot of people were saying Chris Pratt should play him, but he's too old. He's practically the same age at this point.
Yeah, and he's also like maybe even too big of a name.
Yeah.
So people see it. Oh, it's another Chris Pratt movie. It's like, well, it's supposed to be a Han Solo movie, not like some that you take a new. Yeah. Anyways.
So the other thing is, like we've been saying in some of our other videos, we're planning on doing a Q&A. A lot of you guys have been asking us to do them, so I guess we'll do one. So feel free to ask us anything about Star Wars.
Hey. Okay. Didn't read the text message that I sent them to buzz up Will.
Okay, I'm going to redo that part then.
Yeah.
So feel free to ask us anything about ourselves, about the show, about Star Wars, about life, whatever you guys want. We'll go through them in a week or two and, answer some of them. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.